We've been coming down this road here to get to the mine of today, and I actually don't know anything about this mine other than a point on a map, but it looks like this trip may have been worthwhile because I see remains of a structure right here, and also leveled out flat area down there. It looks like there's something. Hopefully the adits have not eroded shut, but we'll find out shortly. Looks good so far though. We just came from that road down there, and we're taking a closer look at this building here, which we assume was a bunkhouse. You see the cool old stove right there. I don't see a manufacturer's plate or anything. But it's a cool old stove, pretty big. Got some old clay pipe here. Round nails, so it's not super old, but all this wood wouldn't be here if it was super old, especially out here in the forest in this weather and conditions. I noticed some old box springs right here, which supports the bunkhouse idea. You can see, I think there's some shelves and stuff down there. Hard to tell much else with all the wood and such on top of it. But yeah, my guess would be this was a bunkhouse. Jake located a cool door lock here.
Handle would have been here and here. Keyhole, latch.
That's pretty cool. It's a nice find. Was it just sitting on the ground?
Yep. Looks like someone collected a bunch of stuff over there.
Yeah, that was
Probably
nice.
Forest Service taking their choice bits. And
Yeah, I was going to show that. Just talking about the little collection right here of stuff. Some of this stuff is modern, obviously, but
bottle's got a cork in it.
there's some old stuff mixed in here as well. The building where we arrived is back that way. We're coming up the creek because supposedly there's an adit and shaft down here. And I've just come across this culvert here in the creek. Now, that looks like a Forest Service project. I say that especially because it's got that gate right there. However, you'll notice that it is not connected to an adit at all. It just washed down the creek from somewhere. And so, I don't know if that blew out or how this got here, but this has Forest Service written all over it, so I'm not sure what to make of this. We've come farther upstream. You can see there's a metal pipe right there. That plastic culvert, well, you can't see us down around the bend. In front of me here is the remain. I think this is pressed rather than riveted, but it remains of a very old pipe here, probably ventilation. Unfortunately, our friends have been here, our dear friends in the Forest Service. So that culvert was what I thought it was, or at least how the impression was. A shaft here. It looks like it kept going down there. Trying to get squeeze in here. This is looking through those slats. That's maybe 20-25 feet down. That's a tree right there with that toxic goo or foam the Forest Service uses. That's what that orange stuff is on top of the tree. But as you can see, it looks like there's a drift taken off down there. I'd love to know. I can hear some water running down there, probably coming in from the creek. So with me hearing running water, I don't know if you can hear it or not, but with me hearing running water and it not being flooded, that means it is draining out somewhere, which so strongly suggests that is in fact a drift. So I'm disappointed we can't go check it out, but well, thank your buddies for that one and the Forest Service. You can't tell, but the shaft we just checked out is maybe 30 feet down that way, and we've come up a little farther and there's a pocket dropping off down here. Just goes down there and stops. That's it. I don't see a sign of any quartz vein or anything right here, but just to the right, we found this adit here. The guys gone in ahead. They dug it out of there right there and are checking it out. So I will be joining them shortly. That black culvert we saw in the stream, I'm assuming got washed out of here. You can see there's a pretty little waterfall right here. And I would imagine in the spring storms, enough water came ripping down here that it just pulled that culvert right out. Because obviously if they gated the shaft, they wouldn't have left this, and then there's nowhere else that that pipe would have gone. So good for Mother Nature. Good for her for helping us out on that one. Real pretty spot back here. Nice little pool of water down here. Very pretty. Alright, I am going to go ahead and drop down into that portal. Alright, there's looking back on the portal we just squeezed in through. Nice hard rock inside here. So no sign of ground fall or anything like that, which is always appreciated. Interesting silvery color on the top of the adit, or the back as they call it. At first glance we thought that that was caved when we first looked in, but I took a closer look at it with the really bright light, and you can see there's a little notch up top that obviously we can get over because the guys have gone on ahead. So that's good. I'm glad I took a closer look at that. Little flowstone stalactite starting to form there. The water's churned up, so I can't tell if there's rail or anything like that in the ground, but I'm not feeling anything like that. It's not muddy or anything though either, which is nice. Just a nice packed floor. There's a drill hole right there. And up there. I'm guessing no bueno, huh?
Yeah, it is. There's a shovel.
Found a shovel, that's cool.
Tight squeeze getting in, if you want to try.
Well, for the sake of completeness, I think I have to. A little drift running off to the side here. Did you guys go down here?
Yeah, that's the face.
Okay.
Worm out.
So yeah, as you said, it just faces out right there, but it's kind of cool. I guess this was exploratory in nature, since we're not seeing any sign of stoping or minerals being extracted. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I don't see anything of mineral, any mineralization that would suggest value here. So obviously they stopped there for that reason. And if I understood the guys correctly, this other one just faces out in a short distance as well. All right, this is the drift that we just checked out. And I'm about to head down this one and have observed that I believe this is backfill, because you don't see where anything has come down from the top right there. And it's been here a while, because I noticed where the water is dripping down right here, it's made a little flowstone deposit on the in the sand right here. Normally you see those on the ribs or the sides of the adit, but this one was formed in the sand right here, in the grit. I'm not gonna carve it out, but you can see how I can scrape out the sand around it. So that's interesting to me that it's been there long enough for that to form. That's a while, because normally the water would just be absorbed into the sand. So that's been there a while. I'm up on my stomach on that backfilled section, and it's definitely backfilled. I mean, you can see that nothing has come out of the top of the adit here. This is well, rock solid, for lack of a better description. And so I'm guessing that this drift ahead of us are the older workings, and that first one I went on off to the left is newer, and rather than haul everything out, they just stuck it here. You can see there's a timber on the ground right there. Also a timber right there. Looking ahead, I can actually see the face right there. And since it's already been reported back to me that that is the end, I don't really feel a need to, you know, do the worm over this waste rock pile, especially because it's got a bunch of sharp rocks and would tear my waders up. So I'm going to get the bright light out just to show you guys the face. And then I think we can head on and see what else is on this site. All right, there's looking back there with the big boy light, and you can see at the end there, that is the face. That's it's not caved or anything, that's just the face. So again, no sign of mineralization that would be valuable, and no sign that they removed any good ore out of here. So I believe, as I said earlier, this is just exploratory. So we're hiking downstream now because there's supposed to be an adit here as well. And I've come across the remains of some buildings here. You see some box springs right there, and you know, bits of wood and tin and stuff right here. Old stovepipe. That's where we just were a minute ago, looking at the remains of the building down there. Same deal up here. You know, obvious remains of a building. More box springs. Given how many box springs are here, suggests a fairly respectably sized crew working at this mine. So, see, more box springs there even. So, obviously that adit we went into wasn't huge, but who knows, that shaft might have been quite large. And like I said, it's supposed to be another adit down here, so maybe that's that was a big one too. We'll find out. Hopefully the Forest Service hasn't successfully destroyed that one. Those buildings we checked out are up there, and followed a small path down here, and I'll admit that we are fairly pessimistic based on the Forest Service activity. However, it pays to check these things, because look at this. This is a wide open adit with ventilation pipe coming out, and it looks like it goes back a ways. Here's looking into the adit, and as you can see, it's open, so I am looking forward to getting into this one, because I've got a feeling this one might be fairly large. That portal is right there, and just before we get suited up and go inside, I just wanted to show you some of the interesting things out here. We'll hear and look in a minute. Got an old ladder right there, which would suggest that maybe the Forest Service didn't gate this one, because back when they were doing that, it was claimed it was still being worked. Hard to say, but obviously it hasn't been working in a long time. And guys said they just found a big tank up here, so we'll go check that out and head downstream and show you some of the other equipment and such, and then we'll head inside. Portal's just back there, and I've come up to check out this tank, and that is a big tank. That's filling the entire creek. I would guess that's probably 12 feet across. Okay, this is actually pretty mind-blowing. So you see this enormous tank right here, and I'm not even exaggerating about the 12 feet. That's conservative if anything. And look, completely consumed by all the rock and material washing down the creek. That is wild. There are the guys right there for some perspective. They're maybe 30 feet away, okay? So look at the size of them. Look at the size of this tank. That is an absolutely enormous tank. And force of the water that presumably ripped out that culvert the Forest Service put in above has just crushed this down to nothing behind the tank here. This is nuts. I have no idea how big it is. It could extend all the way back here to that rock pile they're standing on. Just have no idea. Lots of sheet metal in the creek here. It'll wash down from above, obviously. And they're standing next to some track. That tank is right up there. Just going to show you some of the outside gear here before I head on into the attic. Like I said, you can see the remains of a structure here, obviously. Really big barrel in the creek right there. You can see all this stacked rock here. I don't know if that's waste rock that came out of the mine, or given our impression that this claim has worked, I don't know, within the last 15-20 years or so. Maybe that was somebody moving a rock for dredging. See all the boards and stuff right there, which this looks like it might have been a stack of reserve timbers for use inside the mine. Rail. Got a big concrete foundation right here, which would strongly suggest that they had a compressor here, which again would suggest this is a much more substantial mine than the last one. See all the tin here, down there, and again, all the stacked, or it looks like stacked, could be dumped from an ore car, I suppose. Anyway, lots of rock here, which, again, I don't know if that's somebody dredging or if that is waste rock from the mine. I see more, oh, there's so much rail here. There's a ton of rail down the creek there. And that looks like waste rock all through there that washed down. So, fair amount of ore came from somewhere. I don't know if it was the shaft or here, but I'm looking forward to getting in here. And trail keeps going downstream, so after we're done here, we'll just poke down. I was just saying when a wasp flew in my face and interrupted my video that the trail continues downstream here, and so obviously we'll go head down there afterwards and see what might be down there as well. But for now, let's get inside this attic. Alright, back at the portal, you see that ventilation pipe going in there. And we are heading in, if I can get through all these branches of the portal here without really falling down. Alright, just inside the portal now. And starts out as far as I can see, which already puts us well ahead of the upper attic we saw. See all that water splashing in right there. Probably seeping in from the creek. Nice hard-packed floor here. Not all muddy, which I always like. I don't see a bunch of ground falling, which I also like. That's not a rail, but with all that rail in the creek, I may well have been yanked out of here. Well, I don't really know why they would bother. Because normally, you know, during World War II, World War I, they yanked a lot of rail out of these mines, but they would have taken it with them, so I don't know why somebody would yank it out just for the sake of yanking it out. Unless they were using like a wheelbarrow or something here. There's probably the smallest cross support timber I've ever seen right there. No, I'm probably joking. That was probably for hanging something off of, or maybe even an indicator of movement of the rock. I don't think it was actually intended to support anything. There's some water running up ahead. Really nice echo in here, which is cool. I see the, okay, that's I don't know if you heard that or not, but I was tapping on the ventilation pipe on the ground with my foot. So the ventilation pipe is actually running all along the side like that there. I just stepped on something that felt like a track tie. Yeah, I'm walking on a lot of what I think are track ties. I can feel them better now, so there must have been a rail in here. Oh yeah, you can see the pipe more clearly now, right there. Lots of rushing water up here. on there. There's a wheelbarrow actually, which sort of supports, so I speculated that before. Little pocket right here. I don't see quartz, so it may have just been a little storage area or place to get out of the way. Going ahead still. Looks like we're just about to come out of the water. Oh yeah, you can see all the old track ties on the ground there. Still, maybe whoever is working this claim ripped out all the rail to make it easier to use a wheelbarrow. I'm not sure. We've got drifter off to the left here. I hear a lot of running water there. And then keep going this way. I think we're going to do right-hand rule. All right, continuing the right, following right-hand rule. You can see the pipe. That actually looks more like a compressor pipe on the ground on the right. That's, again, you can clearly see where the track ties were. Got the drain, we call that a piss ditch, on the left, which is nice to see because it means we're not walking out a bunch of water. Let's keep on running ahead. There are some footprints in here. But I really like it. Nobody's been down here in years, and since this hasn't been getting flooded, those footprints could be 10 years old and still look like they were, you know, from last week. Anyway, you guys see all the track ties? These are pretty good sized track ties, so obviously they, you know, it would suggest a decent sized mine. Pocket right here. There's that slaty crap that always seems to cave. So I'm glad it's over there and not above us. Continuing on. Still see that, what I believe is compressor pipe on the right. Looks like there's something up here. You got your iron, which you always want to see inside a gold mine. At least the gold miners do. Alright, looks like we got a decent sized junction here. We got some big support timbers here. The adit keeps going straight. We've got something going off to the right. We've got something going off to the left.
Something going right under this wall.
Something going right under. Oh wow. Something going right under, as he correctly said. That's interesting. And then looking above.
Look, here's a piece of the dynamite box that Shem just stole.
Oh, that's really cool. He's talking about right there. And yeah,
Brass fittings at this junction. Still in good shape.
you know, you can see why they supported this. You see the slab hanging over our heads here? You guys watch away, I'm still standing right under it. Oh yeah, that's cool. The brass.
Four brass fittings here with a valve and
That's pretty cool.
brassy bits. And a bunch of quartz up there.